Good evening. I'd like to call the study session for North Augusta City Council for Monday, December the 12th, 2022 to order. And this time I'd like to turn it over to our City Administrator, Mr. Jim Clifford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have 3 items for tonight's study session. First, the City Council agenda review. Second, department details. And lastly, under Mayor's Matters, we have 2 items. One, a Chamber of Commerce presentation from Ms. Tara Carroll, and also an update from James Sutton on the materials recycling facility, the MRF. So without further ado, I'll just go into the agenda review. And we'll start off with the first item under old business for election ordinance number 2022-20, an ordinance to partner with the Aiken County Board of Registration and Elections to conduct a portion of the 2023 City of North Augusta Municipal General Election second reading. So this is the second reading of a ordinance we talked about last time that we have a relationship with the Elections Commission for helping us run the next upcoming election that involves 3 of our city council seats. I believe Kelly and our city clerk talked through kind of what the nuts and bolts of that was, but I'll pause for any questions on that.
Jim, this isn't and this may involve Kelly and several other people. So after the meeting last week, I had somebody came up to me that was here late, and she brought up the idea of early voting for this. Is that a possibility for the general election? You know, I don't know. I told her I would ask. But she also had some, and I've got some pamphlets that she left me, but she has some big concerns about the Aiken County people. You know, I read through it. It's some legit stuff, so we may need to, and I've got some stuff that we can look at.
I believe the current setup that we have right now, Councilman, is strictly for voting day, election day results. The understanding that I have is for early voting that there's a significant cost associated with that, and we have put together the like $9,000-ish for just the one day of voting, much less doing a
right.
much broader view. So I guess that would be really a council question is, are you willing to put significant money towards that proposal?
The problem is we don't know how much, and that's kind of what I was telling her. It is a cost to us. We don't have the funding mechanism for it, and hopefully she's listening. But I don't know. I don't know how many more people are going to vote than they are on election day. I mean, I'm thinking, what did we have last go round? 1,500 people, maybe. Do you remember, Kevin?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to bring it to the attention. I told her I would. So just to throw it out there.
All right, Councilman. Subject to any other questions or comments, I'll move into the next series of items under new business. So item number 7, resolution number 2022-58, authorizing funding allocation recommendations of the Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee for the disbursement of revenues from the Accommodations Tax Year 2021-2022. And if you look in your packet, you can see the organizations, the amount that they've requested, and then the allocated amount as recommended by the committee as they went through there. So I don't put my thumb on the scale. This is a strictly an independent body of the committee that makes these recommendations. But you can see that you've got a pretty broad number of organizations spanning the Arts and Heritage Center all the way down through North Augusta Forward, and then the PRT department within the city for a number of different items. And I'll pause for any questions from council on this.
I can say it next week, but I'll tell you what's exciting to me about this is I just happened to go back and look at 2017 every year. I mean, last year was 76. For us to be doing over 104,000 is, again, just very positive about the growth and things that are happening in North Augusta. I mean, that's the most we've done in 7 years. So that means more organizations are getting more money than they asked, and I think it's exciting. So the committee did a good job with this.
Is everybody that applied on here, or is everybody that submitted one on here, or is there more that got denied?
I'll defer to either Rick or Rachel on that one. I don't sit on the committee.
Everyone who applied got something.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, for the next, I'll bundle these with the next 2 items, resolutions number 2022-59 and 2022-60. are similar, although not identical. 59 is authorizing the creation of a nonprofit corporation known as the North Augusta Public Safety Foundation. And authorization, or resolution number 2022-60 is authorization creating a nonprofit corporation known as the North Augusta Beautification Foundation. And I'd probably kick this over to Rachel since she did a lot of the heavy lifting on putting these together. But essentially, this allows these as nonprofits to be able to take donations in a much easier way than the city can as a government.
Thank you. In visiting with Mayor Williams, we were talking about mechanisms, organizations, I should say, where folks can make contributions for the betterment of our community, of our city. As a municipal government, we can certainly take donations. They are not charitable donations, so you can't take a tax write-off, for example. There are a number of communities across our state and frankly across the country that have two similar type foundations. In today's climate and economy, it can be very difficult to amass funds for special projects, whether that be for public safety, whether that be for beautification, for example, hanging planters in our downtown area. Operating charitable foundations makes it a little bit easier for community members, whether they're individuals or business owners, to make contributions to their city in a manner that allows for them to receive tax benefits. Charitable foundations typically are made up of citizens and or business owners of the community, and they do with 100% benefit to the community. So for a public safety foundation, like what we would have, an example of this would be at our new public safety headquarters. We all know that it would be our goal to have a really nice green space in the front, possibly an officer memorial, for example. That's above and beyond the basic structure of the facility. A memorial area, garden, whatever you'd like, is a perfect example of a project that a public safety foundation can take on through fundraising, where individuals can make contributions. The foundation board can apply for grants to other entities that make grant awards only to 501c3 nonprofit organizations, and it would be for the sole benefit of the community. A beautification foundation, for example, is oftentimes comprised of folks who are interested in public art, who are interested in, really, if you think about Roy Kibler's area, the beautification of our thoroughfares in our community. We're very fortunate that we are able to contribute dollars through our budget for such beautification, but as we know, there's always more that can be done. And so if we're looking for public art on Center Street, for example, between Bluff Avenue headed down towards Riverside Village, that is a mechanism where this organization could come together and they can raise money to install public art, for example. Or we could have a fundraising campaign for installation of a certain type of flowers in a certain part of the community. This is just a new way for residents to get involved, work together, work in partnership with the city and for the benefit of the city. I'll pause there, see if there are any questions about these two types of organizations. I know Chief Thomas can also give you examples of other agencies that have similar type of foundations and the projects that they do. I'll turn it over to you.
Just a quick question, whoever can answer this. So I guess I'm a little confused. If the city can't take funds, explain how that kind of works. This foundation, it's still run by us, is that correct? Or do we elect people outside of us that are going to sit on these boards? Is that, I see you shaking your head, yeah.
Yep, this would be like a board, like we currently have boards and commissions of the city. So these would be individuals who would be recommended by the mayor and approved by council. So they would not, well, I say that with an asterisk. Typically, these sorts of foundations have at least one council member who represent on the board. Sometimes you can have two, depending on how large you would like the board to be. At any point, the city as an organization can accept a contribution. For example, the gazebo that we have just right down the road, that was a family who felt it was very important to honor their loved one by making a contribution. For them, the charitable contribution did not matter. For them, it was the item and the experience. There are other individuals or corporations who find it necessary to make investments in charitable organizations for their own business purposes, and without having a 501c3 charitable organization, the city is not able to accept some of those contributions. So, like I said, this becomes a partnership between city council, residents, businesses, and city staff. City staff, such as a finance representative, a public safety representative, in the case of that foundation, they become advisors to the charitable foundation boards. And the individuals who serve on the foundation boards are then the liaisons to their friends, family, and others in the community to help raise awareness, to help raise funds, and ultimately help to better the community.
I just want to thank Rachel, and I mean, I'll say this next week too, and the folks who work with this. I see this as being just a game changer, because I've said this to some of y'all, and I've said it to other people. You know, there are some aspects through Parks and Rec that we have done with when TTX gave the bridge on the Greenway. You know, there's some things, but in general, there are communities in South Carolina that are using amenities and using dollars from people. There's a lot of people who are very charitable minded, and they want a tax benefit, but they want to have control to say, here's what it is. And this is, I think, is a win-win, because it's a charitable benefit. You can designate specifically so you know where your dollars are going into it. And I think this will just open up doors for us to be able to do a lot of things that beyond our quote budget. So I think it's going to be very positive. I'm very excited about it. Thanks for your effort, Rachel.
Thank you.
Subject to any additional questions, I'll move to the next item. Item number 10, under Planning and Development, Resolution number 2022-61, accepting a deed of dedication for the streets, sanitary sewer, stormwater collection, and fire suppression systems and associated easements and rights-of-way, along with a maintenance guarantee and letter of credit for Sibley Bluff. And so for those of you not familiar, Sibley Bluff is a very small neighborhood directly on the Savannah River behind the Hammond Hills pool. So there's a limited number of plots that are in that neighborhood. And so what you see in your council packet is all the legal documents or the financial documents associated with this. I would call this a fairly routine action. If you have any specific questions, I'm sure Tom or somebody else can pinch hit for me and get you a good answer. But this is a routine item that we do when we work forward with developments.
I rode by there today. It really changed the landscape of that neighborhood. I think those lots will sell very quickly once somebody gets out of the vehicle and looks at it.
Yes, sir. All right, subject to any questions, I'll move to item number 11 under Public Services, Resolution number 2022-62, authorizing the acceptance of the low bid of AOS Specialty Contractors Incorporated for the Bluff Avenue Streetscape Phase 2, also listed as roadway improvements in downtown Greenway Phase 1. So as a reminder, the City Council had previously rank ordered the street reconstruction projects to number 2 on the CPST 4 list. The number 1 project within that category is the Bluff Avenue Connector, which is also what we're calling the Greenway Connector, which goes from Hammond's Ferry all the way up Bluff Avenue into the downtown corridor. And so this is an important movement. We've already been working with utilities to include Dominion and AT&T and Comcast to underground utilities. Tom Zeser's been working through the easement rights, but this is really the big chunk of this project is the awarding of the contractor to go ahead and do the work within those easements to actually move the Greenway itself up through Bluff Avenue. And so that's what is before you. We had 2 bidders for this particular project, and AOS was the low bid. So this is what we have before the council for consideration. I'll pause for questions. Mr. Mayor, I think your mic's either off or
I missed this the first time, but I called it, reviewed it. Under middle, it says, whereas on December the 1st, 2011, 2 sealed bills were received. Should that be 2022?
I believe it should be.
Okay. Been holding it a long time.
I would love some December 2011 pricing right
Seems like
now.
it's taking that long. And I should know this, but just refresh me, educate me again on, this is phase 2. What was the roadway improvement phase 1?
I think I had it right the first time. Utility relocation. So the stuff we were doing.
That was considered the phase 1 piece?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
And Tom, the phase 1 has already been funded. That's nothing to do with this, correct? With the underground relocation, all that, that was a different item that we had already voted on, correct?
From a budgeting perspective, you know, what Tom Zeser, Rachel, and I have all kind of put our heads together is saying this is basically a $2.5 million project, all in. So this is the road reconstruction, utilities, and then some contingency built in there.
Okay, thank you.
And it does include the drainage ditches going away.
Like Tom's telling me yes.
Thank you.
Well, as we wait for the mayor to get back, are there any other questions about the project itself?
Can make up some if we need to buy some.
No, that's quite all right.
We had 2 bids?
Sir?
2 bids?
2.
Was it spread big?
I'd have to get you the information on that, Councilman.
Is there a estimated start time on that, or just, are we waiting on the
Well-
Dominion and AT&T first? No?
Some of the work, I believe, can start early. We already have an easement approval through the property that has the pond on it.
Okay.
And we already have, some of the utility relocations already occurred.
Okay.
Some of the smaller utilities like Comcast are still in the works, but I think we could probably get a notice to proceed on the street fairly quickly after the council votes on this action. I cannot allow the contractor to move forward until the council approves.
Right. All right, thank you.
Sorry.
So not on the agenda, but I would like to add one additional one that Tom Zeser is working on, which is an additional resolution, which would likely be 2022-63, which is a resolution for funding of the Knob Cone Sidewalk project. And so ultimately, we're looking at funding sources that includes grant funding and then the residual funding coming out of the Street Improvement Fund for this project. So Tom's been doing a lot of work on this with DOT. I won't drag you into the minutia, but there's been a lot of back and forth. But ultimately, I think we're at a point now where we have the ability to move forward if we have council approval to do so.
Now, that was a project that started in 2011, right?
Are there any other questions on the agenda that has been presented? If not, I'll go ahead and move into department details, and that'll be led off by Linda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight's finance update is just Cycle 1 disconnect will be Wednesday and Thursday this week. That's December 14th and 15th. And then our Cycle 2 due date will be Monday, December 19th. And that's all I have for you guys tonight.
Excellent.
I'm going to skip over public services because they have the mayor's matter item, so we'll finish with them, and then we'll go over to planning and development with Tommy.
Mr. Mayor and Council, there's not going to be a planning commission meeting this month. We did not have any applications. And the Development Code Rewrite Committee has gone through the Development Code rewrite from page 1 to the end, and we've sent all their comments to the consultant, so we should be moving to the next step.
Next up, public safety with Chief Thomas.
The update for public safety is Thursday this week. Mr. Clifford and myself will be meeting with JLA and Hood Construction along with Mark Trostner to discuss some more details and move forward with headquarters. Also, Public Safety will host a drop-in, which will be on December the 21st at 12 o'clock till 2 in the courtroom. So if you're available to come by, we'll have some goodies there. And then Wednesday at 3:30 on the 22nd, along with Miss Pat, we'll be at North Augusta Gardens to help distribute new bicycles for those folks. So we're excited about that, and if you want to, please come out and join us for that.
Yeah, everybody come join us. This is a little project we do, and I'm gonna commend Clay Swan, North Augusta Public Safety. I went by the new fire department on Martintown Road, and he had 60 brand-new bicycles. And I saw a little boy tonight at the gym, and he was asking about was we coming back. I said, "Oh, do you know?" I said, "Everybody out there is going. Every child's going to get a brand-new bicycle with a helmet." And so we've got enough money to buy. There's about 78 of them. We'll buy the rest of them. But if you feel free, come on. We're going to have a little party.
Chief, real quick, what is the reindeer run? I should know that. Somebody asked me what that was. Something y'all.
It's nothing that we do. I don't. I saw it on. I
Oh, it's
just
nothing
saw
to do
it
with
on
public
the feed.
safety.
I think he's referring to the Santa in the fire truck. Is that what you're?
Is that what it is?
Is that what you're referring?
You ride around different neighborhoods? Is that not? That's something.
That's what
something to do
we're.
with the ci-
That's something we're doing.
Yeah.
It's
What
new.
is that? I didn't know y'all did that.
We're taking the fire apparatus around different neighborhoods and having Santa on the back of it and letting kids come out and see him.
We've been doing that every year.
No, sir. This is the first year we've
About
done
to
that.
say, I didn't know if I missed it. Okay.
Yeah, it's posted on our website.
That's cool. That's a great idea. Okay. Thanks, Chief.
Next up, Rick Meyer from PRT.
Well, the PRT master plan kickoff meeting was successful, so we're off and running. Step one in the books, they're inventorying our current facilities. And want to make sure that the public go ahead and get the ball rolling with this after the first of the year, that we'll be seeking their input through a survey, and there will also be public meetings where they'll be invited. So I just wanted to go ahead and get that ball rolling. The PRT youth basketball, all the teams have been drafted. I have the number wrong. I had 81 teams. There's actually 86. Left the league off. There's 771 young people playing youth basketball, which is up for our program, which is a good thing. And the last thing I have for tonight is the Activity Center will host the 5th annual Rumble on the River High School Wrestling Tournament December 20 through 21st with teams from South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina participating in the 2-day event. Yes, this is, as I said, this is the 5th annual. So, yeah. Yes, North Augusta High School is the host team.
And Rick, I'm just going to put a plug in for basketball. And I'm sorry, that's why I was late tonight. I had practice. But we've got so many kids, we can only practice twice a week, which, Bob, this is killing me. I like to practice every day. But one thing we need is more basketballs.
More basketball.
More
That's
basketball.
easy. We can handle that.
By having that many teams, we run out of basketballs.
That's the great thing about wrestling. You don't need basketball.
Well, now, when I was a kid, we practiced on the city courts out here.
No, thank you.
Next up, we'll have Tom Zeser from DPW.
I think I reported this earlier, but the Knob Cone Sidewalk project actually goes back to 2001. It was the Sales Tax 1 project.
I was being facetious, but not off my. Wow.
So anyway, just two things to report. Our contractor has advised that he's tentatively planning to pave the new Greenway extension this Friday, the 16th, weather permitting, of course. So hopefully we'll get that done, and we'll be able to wrap that project up here in the next few weeks. The other thing was the Hillwood Court project. I reported that we had started construction on that. We had to pull off while we waited for some utility locates to clear, but we will be putting the patch back on that road and finishing that tomorrow.
Thank you, Tom.
Last but not least, JD from HR.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to give you guys a couple updates. Our annual performance evaluation for all employees have been completed. The review period is December 1st through November 30th each year, and I wanted to thank Jim and administration for their support of that process this year. It went really smooth. Employee holiday party is this Friday. Look forward to seeing you all there. It's at SRP Park. Bear with us as some departments are going to shut down during the event from 12 to 1. We have a lot of people that work 24/7, like water plant and public safety, who can't take time off, and so that's why we're going to be serving food from 11 to 2. So we'll be doing that in shifts. And then just kind of a general announcement and a thank you again for the 4% annual cost of living adjustment is going to go into effect January 4th, 2023. That's our first full pay period of the new year. So just want to thank you guys for that again, and just let everyone know that's when that'll be effective. And then the last thing is our employment opportunities is attached as always. And another thank you, I wanted to thank Jim for his connectivity to Fort Gordon and their transition assistance program. They're helping us with recruitment out at the fort, getting folks that are transitioning out to come to apply to some of our positions. And that's all I have for this evening.
I'm assuming we let the employees know that it'll show up in that January paycheck. That's something we'll let them know that.
Yes, we will. We communicate that to them.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Subject to anyone's questions, that's the end of item 2, or department details, and then we'll move into our focus items under mayor's matters. And with your permission, I would like to invite Ms. Tara Carroll, president of the North Augusta Chamber, to come make a presentation.
Take your time. Walk down those stairs. Dangerous, those high heels.
Did I get permission? Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for
Welcome.
the opportunity to share with you this evening. You have in front of you just a few slides regarding our proposal for this evening. Starting with the first page, just to let you know, currently the North Augusta Chamber is housed on West Avenue, and the owner of our property is potentially entertaining sale of that property as well as the one next door. So we have been renting in that property probably as long as I've been there, for over 10 years. So we kind of have taken a look at other options within our North Augusta community. And we've been looking at for several years possible relocation to a facility that will allow us to better meet the needs of our member partners and our community, as well as we do entertain a lot of visitors that come into the area as well. And looking at new facilities will really give us the capacity to do more in the greater North Augusta area. Some of the benefits that we feel in looking at this proposal, which is to share space over in the North Augusta Community Center, is to build greater synergy with the city of North Augusta and the partnerships that we currently have. Of course, we have a number of events at the facilities at the community center as well as Palmetto Terrace, and we feel, being present there, one, will expand exposure of the community center and increase exposure to attendees to use that space for personal as well as business use. Also, other opportunities there, with staffing, not always is there an activity going on at the community center, and having staff there would also allow the city to extend their services with their employees in other areas as needed, having the chamber there to kind of man the fort in their absence. Also, additional income provided. There's some agreement that works for both the city as well as the chamber to increase revenue for use of that space as well. And in addition, increased partnership with your tourism department that is now being housed in the community center. Currently, the chamber does receive a lot of folks into the community that are visiting, whether it's for maps or brochures or anything of that nature. And I think having a good partnership with the city and having us housed together would be of a great benefit to those that are visiting the area. So what are we suggesting? For those of you that are familiar, hopefully you realize one of the small meeting spaces that was in North Augusta Community Center is now housing your tourism manager as well as one of your facilities managers. So that small space was split, the divider, and created a couple of walls for that to turn into 2 offices. There's a similar space right next door to that that could do the same and house the 2 full-time employees of the chamber in that space. Then you have 2 medium-sized spaces across the back hallway, independent of the large ballroom, and we are proposing that the smaller of those spaces, which is closer to the portico, be used as an additional chamber space that can be subdivided for all of our technology, copier, things of that nature, as well as materials that we have from our member investors, as well as our visitor information. So those are the main spaces that we are looking to use in that space, and I also included a diagram nicely prepared by one of my board members that is here with me, Miss Tricia Allen. So if you have any questions for her on that. As far as additional shared things in the space and what won't be shared, of course, utilities and the facilities themselves, and not shared, of course, would be the network, phone systems, office supplies, and copier, things of that nature. And that's what I have to present for you.
Will this give you space for your board to have board meetings? Do you
It
have
will
that set?
allow us.
That'll work, okay.
Yes, currently the space that we have, we can only host 16 in the space. We have 21 board members.
Oh, I know it's tight.
Yes, so we currently meet at one of our members at the Crown Plaza.
And from the diagram, this still leaves that other space that's available for people to rent besides the main?
Yes. So the room that we're looking at is the smaller of the 2 spaces
yeah.
along that back wall, and then you still have the big, I would say the medium-sized meeting room that can also be split into 2 small rooms.
Yep.
I guess the only thing I would ask, it's not really for you, Tara, but Rick, as far as, is this going to interfere with any rentals? I don't know where we're at with, rental space. So, I don't know if you would know, or Derek, or who.
No, I can hide, no. Well, yeah, I mean, it, but not significant. That smaller room going down the hall, I mean, you're not talking about, but maybe 5,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, in that room, and the other little office space right now, we're not even renting. It's kind of storage, so not a significant difference as far as that's concerned. I mean, we're kind of digesting it all, kind of looking and weighing, as far as, I mean, I'm kind of neutral. I kind of want to hear some of what y'all think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if we're not using it to capacity, and that's why I asked that, I mean, I feel like it's a pretty good deal, because I know, obviously, you'll be paying some rent, and it'll help y'all, too, with the sharing of utilities and things of that nature, and we're probably not selling that anytime soon. I personally feel like, like I say, if all of these rooms were booked out week in and week out, it'd be a hard sell. But I mean, if we're only doing a little bit, and like Tara said, it may free up Derek and some of the other guys not to have to be there all the time. It may free them up. I think it sounds pretty good, but I don't know if anybody else has any.
Yep, I do. I think it's wonderful. Because I just think city and chamber should be neck and neck with or hand in hand with each other. First of all, I think it would bring in people to almost rent our big room, because they're going to see, these people you bringing in, Tara. All right, and also, now, one thing I think, and Rick, I need to ask you, because I know I was late coming in, the resolution 2022-58 about the community center upgrade, the $7,000. The carpet in the community center is absolutely horrible. I mean, it's embarrassing. It is so ugly. And I can't imagine someone renting for reception and look down and say, ooh, what is this? So that carpet needs to go. All right, and let's see, and I can't remember, Jim, well, organizations like Nancy Carson Library ask for money, in our budget, and we allow, does the chamber do that, Tara? So, to me, why not swap out instead of did we give you money? I can't remember. Okay. So instead of giving the money, it could go toward their rent or something. But I think this is an ideal space for the chamber, because when you come in a city, first thing you think of is your chamber.
Councilman, I would just say that, at least from my chair, and I'm not speaking for Rick or Rachel right now, which is, we still have to work through some of the fine points of an arrangement if we come to one. I think we're really trying to find out from the council today is, what's your temperature on the concept? Is this a concept that you will support? Is it a concept you don't support? If it's a concept that you support, then the staff will work towards making that a reality, working that with Tara, and figuring out the best way to do that, and whether that's through a reimbursement or whether through waiving of fees,
Right.
And then under which spaces they would occupy and how we would do all that.
But one thing I will say, Tara, I don't know, there is, because I went in the other week, just nosing around at the community center, and I walked in, there were 16 little senior women playing, and it's not bridge, it's another game. And they invited me to play, but I said no. But they were there, and of course, I asked them, would they raise their hand if they were North Augusta residents? And so I think 4 raised them, the rest of them were Augusta. But I told them, that's great, we want you to come to North Augusta. But I know they do meet on Wednesday from 12 to 4 in one of the rooms you're proposing, but they can move to the other room.
Councilwoman, they're not even paying for that.
No, they're
that
not,
space.
but they love this. Miss Jones that passed away and, wanted her senior building. And that's why I tell the ladies, I said, well, we're really happy you're doing this. So we could move them on back to another one. That's the only ones I see down there other than parties and stuff. But Pat Carpenter's for it.
All right, so we got 2, real good, Mr. McGee.
I think it's a really good idea. Partner with the chamber and use this facility and get it.
Mr. Brooks.
I also agree that this will be a good joint venture for the city and the chamber. Pat hit it on the head. You're bringing new people to the community. And we have some nice facilities here. Community center does need upgrading. I think there's money in sales tax 4 to do some upgrading. That building is probably 25 plus years old, if maybe more.
Maybe, I believe, older.
But this also leaves room for the large banquet room and the smaller banquet room, plus the kitchen to be used. And as long as it doesn't become a senior center, I'm all for it. Because it's built for the community. And like that group that meets, they don't have any money. So we are just subsidizing them for the space to use. I've been through this numerous times, and I really think this is the best solution for it.
I'll just let Pat be the spokesperson for all of us on it. I think she nailed it on the head too, but I am for the collaboration of it. I think it's great for the communication channels and streamlining communication between the chamber and the city, having everybody in one room, bringing the community to get together. As Bob said, it's a community center, so let's keep engaging the community, and that's exactly what y'all represent, and bringing businesses to our town, which brings more money and more people, which is fantastic. Thank you.
Everybody said what I would say, so yeah, I'm generally supportive.
Next time, let's start on poor Kevin's side.
Yeah.
He gets left out every time.
So I would tell you, Ms. Clifford, we're not voting, but I would give you a unanimous that we think this is very positive and would like y'all to work through the details with the chamber on how we can make that happen.
Mr. Mayor, acknowledged.
And Bob, it's at least 35 years old. I remember seeing the first George Bush campaign there in 1988. So you said 25. I'm like, no, it's at least 35, if not close to 40 years old.
Yeah, I was there too. I remember that.
Well,
Good
it's
job,
pretty
Tim.
on the outside, just the inside needs a lot of.
Thank you all for your support.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tara.
Let's keep things moving here.
All right, I'm going to swing the next item, which is the materials recycling facility update and proposed changes for collection methods, probably with an intro with Rachel Moody and then over to James.
James is going to give you an overview of where we've been and what we look like now. We're really excited to show off our pictures. We have a little ways to go, and we'll make sure to bring everyone out when we're up and running again. But the second half of this presentation is to talk to you all about the changes that are going to have to come about with our curbside collection, but we have a few options that we want to run by you on how we go about that. So without further ado, James, did you want to do the presentation? Oh, and James brought a show and tell. Life of the party.
Good evening, and by the way, I'm not ill, just precautions, trying to get a 4 on my appraisal for safety. With that being said, it's good to be here tonight to update y'all on the material recovery facility's progress on restoration of the building and some of the components, the equipment, and also some needed proposed changes to our recycling collection program on the residential side. I'm going to share with you some of the pictures of the event that happened on Thanksgiving Day, which was last year on the 25th. Public safety responded to a fire at our material recovery facility. What you're looking at there is the front of the building, the tipping floor area where all the solid waste is placed off of our vehicles. It caught fire, unknown source. Typically the fires that we found are from lithium batteries. People put charcoal in the garbage that's recently been used. The heat's not out, lights up some of the fire trucks. I mean, not the fire trucks, but some of our sanitation trucks have caught fire from it. And also some of the chemicals that are blended in can also lead to a fire. But a lot of things that we have on a day-to-day operation, we've seen our equipment will run over a lithium battery and it'll ignite and spark off and cause some of the paper to catch fire. So this here is a side view of the building with the fire going at night. You'll see over there, well, to your left, right, back side, one of our main pieces of equipment, the ballistic separator, is right in the heat zone. This is also another image of the ballistic separator and the rear portion of the building where our compactor is located. And here's the aftermath. The ballistic separator was been charred, and our bag opener that we use to open up the garbage and receive the recyclables and collect those out of the solid waste stream, you know, from our all-in-one collection program that we are currently doing today. It took out all the electrical components in the facility and the conveyor systems that we use to transfer material throughout the warehouse and the processing of the various recyclables. Working with administration and JD and Human Resources, they met with insurance companies and collected information, worked through the settlement process, to which they ordered staff to go ahead and start with the demolition process, which we did. The fire basically took out about 12,000 square feet of the building that was damaged and had to be removed. This here is the first image to my left on the screen is the compactor that we had to remove. We had to tear out the backside of the building, remove all of the siding, the purlins, and damaged recycling equipment. And this is what the building looks like basically today, other than you'll see some slides that's forthcoming that's got some of our new recycling equipment there. We were able to salvage 7,500 square foot of the building. And that's looking straight on facing to the side view of the building there. Actually, the new building will connect on to this building here and come out and that's where the new 12,000 square foot building will be constructed. So under the roof line will be 19,000 square feet total. These are some of the repairs that have been started and completed. This is when you pull right into the facility. It's the shipping area. That has been re-sided, restructured, and new roll-up doors have been placed on that side of the building. This is also at the very top image. This is some of our new equipment that's being installed. I was out there this afternoon. We're probably about 65–70% along with the install of our new equipment. The contractor's been doing an exceptional job collecting and putting all this material, the equipment together, and they continue to work. So we anticipate the whole project being done, hopefully no later than the 1st of January. I want to go back historically, some of the prior program that the city maintained from 1993 to 2020. They used a blue bag program, which consisted of customers provided a roll of blue bags. Towards the end of the program, they received 1 bag per week. They would fill the bags with recyclables and place them into 1 roll cart. Roll cart was delivered to the material recovery facility where it was manually removed by inmates and city staff, emptied and processed for recovery of recyclables. The problem basically with the blue bags, need a little air. Anyway, sorry. The problem with the blue bags was with the China sword and the recyclable problems that were being experienced by the market back in 2019 and 2020 was the blue bags they were useful, but the problem was is they were no market value for them, and nobody wanted to buy them, so they had to go to the landfill. So that's when we decided it was time to eliminate the program. The annual cost that the city was expending on the blue bags annually was about $28,000 a year. We currently are still operating the all-in-one program. That's where the residential customers place their recyclables, garbage bags into the roll carts, and it goes to the facility. And currently they're removing the recyclables manually with excavators and skid steers. We had the proposed changes. Is what we're recommending is to discontinue the all-in-one program, issue a bin or a roll cart to our customers, and let them go back to participating into the recycling program to where they will use their roll cart for solid waste and separate out the recyclables and place them in a bin such as the one in front of you, or a roll cart that a separate truck will collect and take it back to the material recovery facility for processing. The 96-gallon roll cart, that's the image of it. It's blue. Currently, our sanitation customers have the green roll carts. The roll carts, if we go in that direction, require additional equipment, another truck, and additional staffing, a driver, and it's difficult to service multi-family units, such as Crossroads Apartments and various areas of roll carts. We have limited space for them to place these carts curbside. Talking with finance, they can do a 5-year lease purchase on the carts and the vehicle. That's going to be a recurring expense every year thereafter. Estimated about $158,000 to get the program started if you was to elect to go with roll carts. Our recommendation is the 18-gallon totes. Basically, compared to the blue bags, you get 39% more volume. They're not something that you replace and deliver to customers continually, as well as you can identify the content that they're placing in these bins where you can't do so where they're in a bag or in a roll cart. A lot of times when you get into the bags, you deliver the bags to the customers, we have found that they use them for garbage bags. And the same thing applies to your roll carts. A lot of them will turn into not recycling carts, but solid waste garbage carts. And we'll be able,
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this, like you have to lift it, take it, or is it on wheels, or?
this here are manual. You have to pick them up, Ms. Pat.
Jim, show it if you don't mind. I mean, James.
Oh, yeah,
And turn to this so TV people can see you too. Okay. Make your star, James.
So, Mr. Mayor, as James gets back to the microphone, and for the council members as well, I'm familiar with the system. We had this in Fairfax County, Virginia, where I had been stationed at one point in time. And large communities have done this successfully. And so it's certainly a leap forward from the blue bag, and certainly more cost effective than doing the roll cart. So there are use case and case studies of very successful communities that have implemented this program. I think James has a solid recommendation for y'all today.
but is it one tub per family? I mean, if people have,
You can
More
get another
than-
one if you drink a lot of beer.
huh,
You could get another one if you wanted.
okay, well, no,
Right?
I'm gonna have to hire
You
somebody
can
to
get
lift
more
it.
than one if you need to. We charge them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work through the logistics of it, but, one cart per residential unit. And then, thereafter, if you decide, I would recommend you charge what the city pays for the cart.
Well, some
And
people
then-
need more than one, I can assure you.
James, I do have a quick question here. I don't see, it says no more additional staff or anything. How do we plan on collecting these? I mean, are we still sending a separate truck, and is that going to require 2 people versus 1? Because someone's going to have to get out and manually lift it.
Well, right now, we offer a curbside bulk collection for recycling. We have a truck that goes through the neighborhood.
That's the one that, where I leave my cardboard out?
That's
and-
correct, yes, sir. Anything that cardboard and other items such as that,
Yeah.
that's curbside, that won't fit in a roll cart, a lot of our customers place them curbside.
And-
We have,
Oh, go ahead.
we have a recycling truck that goes through the routes.
All right, and then I guess the only other thing, and it's the same thing, I know you're never going to do it, but how much lost recyclables will we have because people don't want to separate them out? They're still just going to throw them in the trash? Or is everything still going to come through the MRF like we've always done? And this is just kind of like, instead, like the blue bags before, we had to separate. So is that kind of what the idea is here? And then we still have separation of other things? Or?
Yeah, well, no, sir, I can't say that. We have operated what they call a dirty MRF.
Right.
Over the past 27 years. And what we're going to is a clean MRF. And that requires that the solid waste be taken to a separate location.
Right.
And
I'm sure we would get more for some of that cardboard, because I'm sure when it was in the trash cans, it may have been wet, this, that, and the other, it was unusable. And so I assume with it being cleaner like this, we would get probably more for it, because I know at one time you said people were only buying the nice cardboard, not the old beat-up stuff. That's the only downside I see, is some people just flat out aren't going to do it. And I mean, we'll have to try it, but I'm just curious to see what the volume would be.
well, we've done several audits through the years on our recycling programs, specifically with the blue bags. And I can tell you, we got over 3,300 dedicated customers that do recycle in North Augusta.
Oh, yeah.
And, yes, the blue bags, they were heavily abused by several customers who use them for garbage bags. It's just a point. We're not going to recover 100%, but I think that this is going to allow the opportunity for our residential customers to get back. And I know a lot of them want to get back. They want to recycle themselves, and they've trusted the city to do this for quite some time for them. And we didn't really get any negative feedback when we went with all-in-one. Right. But I know they're going to appreciate the opportunity to recycle. And it's probably going to hopefully, balance out and, if anything, increase our productivity and our product that we have to sell.
I think you're going to increase it because the nice thing about the bin is it makes you want to put something in it. That blue bag was just a mess, you got to roll it out, find a place, how you going to hold it, and then you hold it. I mean, that's a bin. I can dump stuff in it. It's easy. I mean, I think we'll get a lot of people. I'm a big bin guy. I like bins.
If,
And I will cover this. We have more workings to do to get where we need to go. And once y'all accept this and give us some directives on the direction y'all would like to see us go, we'll go ahead and start getting things together and also do some promotions and work with our community to educate them and give you timelines on when we can get this thing done. I know there probably might be some questions, but right now we have door-to-door service for some of our handicaps. We go to their doors, pull their carts out, dump them. We'll do the same thing with these carts as well. They'll be immediately added to the list. That container right there weighs a little bit less than 12 pounds full as it sits right now. So if you'd like to lift it or pick it up, I'll leave it there for you, or I can take it with me tonight. It's up to you.
James, I had something I just thought about. Because I see those guys. I mean, my new house, the route. I mean, they're usually there between 7:30 and 8 down at River North, and I just had an idea. I have a blue trash can. If I were to fill it up with recyclables like next Monday and set it there, would they stop and empty that?
Is it your personal can?
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering.
No, sir. You'd come home to a full can.
Okay. Well, it was just an idea, if we wanted to jumpstart this program. Lowe's has blue trash cans for, I think I paid about $10 for it. And, if I put cans and cardboard and stuff like that, it was just
That's
an
right.
idea.
Yeah, I understand. I was just joking.
Yeah, no. And,
Yeah.
and that's fine. It's just, in lieu of that, I wouldn't, if we start this program, would that be instead of having two, because I like to recycle, aluminum cans, the steel cans, cardboard, paper, just whatever. With what we go through, I don't know if one of them carts would be enough. And that's why I asked about the trash can.
Yeah.
Could I do that? And, once we start this, instead of having two totes, just have one big blue trash can.
Right, yes, sir. Yeah, there's two ways of doing it. You can get the 96-gallon, but it would have to come with the truck.
No, I was just saying if I wanted to go out and purchase my own. That's all I was asking. As long as you don't abuse it.
I can tell you.
Won't work.
If we had all-inclusive our customers all in one who were doing what you would say that they would do,
Yeah.
it will work. But just
Okay.
for separating it out as individuals, kind of doing their own thing with their own stuff, it will be difficult for our staff to process that.
Okay.
The larger the better, the more volume we have. These are pretty much the typical signs that are used by various agencies. It's kind of twofold. You get the 96-gallon. It's very difficult when it's full to lift.
Yes.
So it would be very challenging for a full day's worth of work to dump those.
And one other thing, it's nothing really to do with this, but I know y'all, a lot of people probably aren't aware, but up at our facility, we have, recycling dumpsters out there, at the facility, and I've used it several times myself. Do we have any more across the city, or is that something we've thought about doing? Because the only thing I hate is it's locked on Saturdays, so, I'm cleaning out my garage, and there's been several times I've been to the dump in Belvedere, and they will flat out just close it down because they already have too much. So I didn't know if we had any more places around the city, or if there are places, on the weekend that we could do that stuff.
The city used to maintain a drop-off site up by Kroger near that power easement years ago. And I don't know, Mr. Zeser, do you remember why it was closed down, or you recall, or? Yeah, before the merger. So. But we do have a lot of people who come up and visit our site and put stuff in the
Oh yeah,
containers.
like I say, it's locked on Saturdays, and like me, I'm cleaning the garage. If y'all are, and I hate to just throw it out in the trash or whatever. So it was just an idea if we had another place that we could access on the weekends. I think it would be received very well too, because that's close to my house. I come up there, but I got up there one Saturday, it's locked. I'm like, well, let me go to Aiken County, and sure enough, oh, it's full.
We'll look into, some alternatives if we can, do anything more for sure.
Sounds good. Thanks, James.
Yes, sir.
We're going to let Kevin with feedback. Let's start on this end. Y'all got any comments?
I'm really excited about it. I attended the meeting, what was that, about 2 months ago, about the recycling event, and I think it's a fantastic move for us. I think there's a lot of citizens that didn't even realize maybe that we still were recycling in our community. I do think there might be a loss in volume on amount of recycling, but there's a lot of benefit to the clean recycling. It produces more money and options like that. And I was sitting here thinking about it. It also will teach our children how to recycle, because we'll have the nice bin in the house, and they'll actually notice that now. So I think that that's beneficial too.
How about the newsprint? Are you getting much recyclables on newsprint?
That's, you know, with these telephones, it's dropped a lot. And a lot of times when newsprint is contaminated. So we don't, you know, we're giving it away.
Okay.
Yes, sir. There's no value other than giving the material away on the newsprint, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you.
Pat, you got anything?
Are you automatically bringing to the bins, let's say, to my house, or I have to call you and say, when we first start up?
Well, Ms. Pat, upon y'all's approval, when we get that far, after we go through a bid process and y'all agree that this is the direction you want to head with this type of collection method,
Okay.
we're going to go out and get bids on it. We're going to promote it, website it, contact our customers, and we'll have a release date notifying them that we're going to be delivering those bins, and we're going to take them door to door.
Okay, good.
So this is another one of those census meetings, so I think what you have heard from us is we are excited about it, very positive. Thank you for all your efforts. I know you put a ton in it, all your folks, Rachel, so we like it, so thank you,
Okay,
James.
so you're saying move forward?
I would say move forward, yeah.
Okay, that's what
With
we'll
the
do.
bins, yeah. No, you can take it. You can take it.
Mr. Mayor, subject to any of yours or the council's questions, that's all that we have from the staff this evening, and I turn the meeting back to you.
Okay. I actually don't have anything else, but I'll just give it a go. Anything else in? Pat,
No, I'm over here enjoying this, looking at this little gift. Jamie, thank you. This is my 10 o'clock snack.
He said he didn't have anything.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Third? Thursday is this Thursday, yeah. And our last meeting of the year will be next Monday. And a lot of neat things, but one is we'll have the winners of the mayor's writing contest. And when you leave here, if you haven't noticed, when you come off the elevator, right in front of you are the drawings from the 1st through 4th grade. And it's really cool because Kevin Whaley and Jamie put a lot of effort in, but it's a greenway, the river, and they put objects that don't belong. So the kids had to notate those. So look at that if you will. So I think that's really good. So I thank y'all for doing that. But 19th will be a good meeting. We got a lot of good stuff, and you get to read a Christmas story.
Yeah.
All right.
Is this a story? I mean, it's history. It's history. So you say the J word. Excited.
Britton, I thought about one thing
yes, sir.
before you close out. Tomorrow, most of us council members and I think some of our state people are out at Walmart tomorrow to ring the bell for Salvation Army.
Good, you're doing, yes.
So I would encourage anybody listening to come out. You know, it's a good cause. I think Colin Lindell set all that up. It starts from 12, and I think it's going till about 8 between, I know, Kevin, David, Pat, Jennifer, Bob. I'm not sure if Bob's there or not, but I know Melissa Oramus will be there and some other citizens as well. So I encourage everybody to just come out and give or take pictures and make fun of us, one of the two. I think it'll be fun.
That's awesome. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's awesome. Very good. Okay, thank y'all for doing that, and we stand adjourned.